Now, the players have a vote August 30th and September 7th. What will this vote decide?
Well, this vote will decide really two things that are both linked. Whether or not the players want to retain the National Basketball Players Association as the exclusive bargaining representative for collective bargaining, and secondly, in effect, whether they want to approve the agreement that we've negotiated with the NBA.
How will that affect whether the season will start on time or not?
Well, we think that the players have the absolute control through this vote to determine whether we're going to have a season that starts on time or not. And so if the players vote yes, then we simply will have it all done and we will have the start of the season.
If they vote no, then what happens?
If the players vote no, then they have voted to decertify, and then they'll run into a lot of uncertainties because then they will have to rely on the antitrust law and the courts to give them a decision, and it could be months or months away.
All right, obviously you're happy with the agreement. What do the players who are giving you a hard time about the agreement not like?
Well, there are some players who say they like nothing about the agreement, and if
that's a problem.
Yes, that is a problem. If you like nothing about the agreement, it's a little difficult to address. Some of the other players had indicated they did not like this so-called luxury tax on players' salaries, but we've eliminated that luxury tax. We've also provided for so-called exceptions that will allow free agents to move when they want to re-sign with other teams. And finally, everyone's heard so much about this Larry Bird exception. We've maintained it so a player can sign with a team that's at or over the cap for an unlimited amount of money.
What's your feeling on which way the vote will go? Do you have a hunch?
Well, it would only be a hunch. I mean, we have not done any scientific surveys. We've heard from the so-called dissidents camp, their view. The NBA is keeping a toll. But we, the union, just feel that it's the old cliche. The only one that's going to matter is when they actually go in and vote on August 30th and September 7th. But we believe that we're going to win this vote because we believe that the players are going to look at this, the players and their families, and they're going to say that they want this season to start, they want it for themselves, they want it for the fans, and so they're going to vote yes.
And a couple of complaints they had, Simon. One was that they were not informed enough and that an agreement was trying to be rammed through without them really knowing about it. True?
Well, yes and no. I mean, what happened was that we had already scheduled a Players Association meeting, and we ended up making a deal with the NBA some 2 days before a long-standing meeting had been set up with the player reps and other players. So the net effect was the players didn't have a whole lot of time to consider the original June meeting.
Are they informed now?
Oh, yes. They are as informed as they can be and probably more informed than they want to be. Both sides have given them plenty of material, and unfortunately they'll get a little bit more between now and the election.
Michael Jordan left baseball talking about the labor problems that baseball was going through, and now he's led the charge for decertification. Are players following him because he's Michael Jordan or because of what he stands for in this issue?
Well, I think the players all have the capacity to think for themselves, and they do in fact think for themselves. You know, Michael has been one of the leading opponents, but I'd have to say, to balance the record, you know, Charles Barkley, Clyde Drexler, Joe Dumars, John Stockton, Karl Malone, just to name a few players of very, very high visibility, have favored the union and have favored this deal. So what we have is just a difference of opinion, even among superstars, but among rank and file.
Can we see a split? I don't know if crossing a picket line would be the right term where we stand in the lockout, but based on what happens with the vote and if players still have their own views and are against what takes place in the vote, could we have a real division amongst the players even if the games do get around to starting on time?
I don't think so, Chris. I think that what has happened is that what we're seeing is really democracy playing itself out. And I think when the vote comes on August 7th and August 30th and September 7th, what we're going to see is that afterwards, if the season starts, and we're hopeful it will start on time because the players will vote yes, that the other players will come in and look and say, well, they expressed their views, and they've expressed their views at the ballot box too, and they will accept the judgment of the majority, and everybody, win or lose, will go back and play ball.
Michael Jordan, his group, they've sent out letters to inform and get their message out to other players. What are you doing to counter that?
Oh, we've sent out certainly a lot of different communications, written communications. As a matter of fact, I prepared a video that gone out, which is about 15 minutes, that all of the players will be able to see, that will highlight the major terms of the deal and explain why this is very, very good for the players and why we are recommending that they vote for it. And of course, we've done a series of meetings. We're in the process of doing those now, some 17 cities that we are visiting in 11 days. So we're making a very concerted effort to get our message out to the players also.
And either way, fans may see some basketball with this Shaq-Hakeem one-on-one thing that's supposed to take place September 30th in Atlantic City, a pay-per-view. Now, the NBA denied Magic and Michael a chance to play a similar one-on-one event in the past. Could the NBA have stepped in this time if there was an agreement and said, no, you can't do this?
Well, the NBA and the Player Association in the past would have had, under the old collective bargaining agreement, the right to approve such a deal. Of course, in this instance, when this deal was consummated, there's a lockout as currently exists. So the players, of course, are entitled to go out and earn a living as they see fit. So there is no problem, or should be no problem, with respect to this one-on-one.
All right, and summing up here, if you had to just capsule for us what you think is going to happen, Simon says...
Simon says that, one, we have to add to our list Shaquille O'Neal and Hakeem Olajuwon as superstar players who favor this agreement. And I guess Simon says players go out, please go out, vote on August 30th and September 7th, and also please vote in favor of the union and vote for this contract.
All right, thanks for spending some time and helping keep us informed.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Simon Gourdine, Executive Director of the NBA Players Association.